Most people swing between two exhausting ideas. One is, I'm not that bad, the other is, I'm too far gone. And both can keep a person from seeing the gospel clearly. Romans 3 verses 23 to 24 cuts through both illusions at once. For all have sinned, and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. Paul wrote Romans to lay out the good news of Jesus in a clear and careful way, and by the time he reaches this verse, he has already spent time showing that every kind of person stands in need of God. Religious people do. Irreligious people do. Moral people do. Openly broken people do. The ground is level here. All have sinned. That means nobody gets to claim innocence before God, and nobody is left out of the conversation. The phrase, come short of the glory of God, is also important. It does not just mean we make a few mistakes here and there. It means we fall short of the standard we were made for. We were created to reflect God, to love what is good, to live in right relationship with Him. Sin is not only breaking rules. It is a deep failure to be what we were meant to be. That is why the verse lands with so much honesty. It names the problem without softening it. But it also does not leave us there. Verse 24 turns the corner, being justified freely by His grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. That word justified means being declared righteous before God. Not because we managed to clean up our whole life, but because God does something for us that we could never do for ourselves. And Paul says this happens freely by His grace. Freely means it is not purchased by our effort. Grace means it is given out of God's kindness, not our worthiness. This is where so many people struggle. We understand earning. We understand proving. We understand working off a debt. But grace confronts our pride and our shame at the same time. Pride says, I can make myself right. Shame says, I could never be made right. Grace says, Christ has done what you could not do. Then Paul uses the word redemption. That is a rescue word. It carries the idea of release by payment, of someone being set free because a price has been paid. And the verse says that redemption is in Christ Jesus. In other words, Jesus is not just a good example or a spiritual coach. He is the one who steps in to save. He is the reason forgiveness can be real and not just sentimental. He is the reason guilty people can stand before God with hope. This matters deeply in modern life because people are carrying guilt, regret, private failures, hidden addictions, and the constant pressure to appear fine. Some cope by minimizing sin. Others drown in it. Romans 3 verses 23 to 24 does neither. It tells the truth about the human condition, and then it tells the truth about God's grace. Yes, all have sinned. Yes, all fall short. But justification is offered freely through Christ. That means you do not need to pretend you are better than you are, and you do not need to believe you are beyond mercy either. The gospel is honest enough to face your sin and strong enough to save you from it. The takeaway, you may fall short, but in Christ, God's grace reaches all the way to where you are.